Hello friends, I hope you're all having a lovely day. Welcome to another video. This is my channel NB Reads and my name is Will, and today we're going to talk about the books that I'm going to be reading in September. So it's been such a long time since I've done a TBR video. I cannot even remember the last time I did one, but I thought it'd be really fun to do this one, not only because I have a bunch of different reading plans and it would be fun to share it, but also because I need to unscramble my mind about everything that I'm planning for September. I have it written down, but I think it'd be nice to talk with it, share it. So I'm gonna be participating in Shorty September, which is a themed readathon type of thing, I guess. That's hosted by Bert and Heather. I will link both of their respective channels down below and where you can get information about it. And last year, Heather did a scene with all the prompts. And this year, she did tarot cards that I obviously printed out. And I printed out a picture on the back of the book that I'll be reading for the prompts. I think this is so fun, so silly. I love it so much. And my hope is that I could scramble these, shuffle them, and let these cards pick what I read, which I'm very excited about. So Shorty September is all about reading short books. I will be breaking this a little bit and won't be following it through the entire month just because I want to be able to do the reading stuff that I would like to do. But I'm still going to participate within it overall. So let's see what we got here. So for the prompt, shorts with pockets, read a book with something on the cover that would fit in a pocket. I'm going to be reading How It Works Out by Miriam Lacroix. This is a finger. I think it's very silly. Definitely fits in a pocket. Not this one. This one's huge, but a finger. I don't really know what this one's about. I know that Moss by Moonlight really loved it, and that it's lesbian and maybe a little scary. I'm not sure, but I'm very excited to read it. It's 214 pages. The next prompt is Rockstar Shorts. Read a book and pair it with a song or album. I don't remember how this can be interpreted, but I'm assuming you can interpret it many which ways. I'm going to be reading Power to Yield and Other Stories by Bogi Takach, maybe is how you pronounce it. This is a short story collection that I just found while browsing on Goodreads, randomly. I think it's trans, queer, it's many different genres, all meshed together. I think speculative, weird. I'm really excited by this one. Sometimes I get this feeling of that I'm searching for the book that's gonna make me feel okay, I found the book, I can stop reading now, which obviously I don't do, but sometimes I get that feeling, and I have this feeling for this book, this is gonna be everything and I don't need to read anything else after it. I mean, that's not gonna happen, but I'm excited to see what this is all about, and it's also a lesser known author and work. I'm very excited about it. And the album that I will pair it with, I think I'm gonna have to see, but looking at the cover and the vibes of this book, I have two songs, the combination of two songs by Grimes in my mind, these two, that are not songs that I actually listen to, but looking at this cover, I feel they would go really well together with this, but it's just gonna be one of those things I'll have to see. Next, for the prompt, Sip Off Trousers, read a book with a title that could be shorter. I had to pick the longest book longest title on my TBR. This is Everyone on the Moon is Essential Personnel. It's also a short story collection. I think it's also queer. I think it does take place on the moon. It's sci-fi. Very excited to read this. I had on my TBR for such a long time, and one of my favorite things about readathons or reading themed challenges and stuff like that is that you end up picking up books that you actually hadn't planned to read so soon, or it's been on your list for a long time. I'm very excited to read this. Don't really know anything about it. I think it was a little hyped a couple years ago. Excited for this. For the next prompt, this is Jean Shorts. Read something from the 70s or 90s. I'm going to be reading The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula K. Le Guin. This is going to be part of a reading vlog that I have been doing for 2 years now, not consecutively. I'm not you know, that much of an overshooter. I started it 2 years ago and I'm trying really hard to finish it now. And this book will be like the last book to finish that vlog, which I'm super excited about. I also don't know what this is about. It will be my second Ursula K. Le Guin. And I'm excited to like get into it again. I think I started this at some point, but I just wasn't in the right headspace. I think this was published 1971. Next prompt is Nu Metal Bermuda Shorts. Read a book that mixes genres. I'm a little torn on this one, to be honest. I have this book at the back of the card because I recently learned that this is in fact queer and I didn't know about that. So I've had it on my TBR for a long time, haven't picked it up, didn't know that it was Le Bichiquois, and now I really want to read it. But when I finished the summer bingo board for page 28, you could get a free book, and I got this one, which is called Pan Apocalypse by Carly Moore. I don't know anything about this book. I just saw it at page 28 and decided to pick it up. And this one I know for a fact is like auto fiction, but also has time travel in it, which I think sounds very exciting. So this one is definitely good for that prompt. This one, I'm not sure if it actually mixes genres. It might be like historical fiction, literary fiction. I don't know if that's enough to like be mixing genres, but either one of these two, I'll be reading for that prompt. Hopefully I can read both, even though something doesn't fulfill the prompt. I honestly don't know how much time I'll have for like reading and stuff. Then I'm going to pick up for the prompt Ripped Shorts, Read a Mystery or Slasher. I'm going to be reading this one, Your Shadow Half Remains by Sunny Moraine. I think this is like a horror. I hope it fulfills the prompt. I'm also reading this for reading vlog pretty much like right now, which is exciting. I don't really know anything about it. It's just one of those books I've seen added to my to-read list. It's a 2024 release, and I will talk more about it, like obviously in the reading vlog. I hope it's gonna be some sort of slasher. That'd be fun. And then we have Half and Half Shorts, Read a book, then watch the movie, or the other way around. I always struggle with this prompt. Well, I say always as if I've done this reading challenge for like years now, but last year too, I was like, I don't really know what to read because I don't read a lot of like books that become movies. And I was thinking of one twist that I could have done for this, you know, like Gretchen Martin Faulkner's new book is called Cuckoo, and then there's a new movie starring Hunter Schafer, also called Cuckoo. They have nothing to do with each other, but I was thinking that would have been fun. But Cuckoo by Gretchen Martin Faulkner is way too long to be in Shorty September. So I scrapped that whole idea, and I've decided to read Orlando by Virginia Woolf. And I have ordered this book from ARC Books where I volunteer, which literally looks like half and half, and I think it's very funny to do like Orlando as the half and half. Now, I've actually already watched this movie, but I would love to like rewatch it after reading the book. I only read one Virginia Woolf before and I was not a fan, but I'm excited to give her another shot. This one is I think 250, which I think is like a little bit too long to be a short books. I'm not really going for the shortest of short books this month. I think it's okay. Then we have another book that's going to be part of a reading vlog, and I'm very excited for this one. I'm not going to tell you what the reading vlog is, but I'm going to tell you what this book is. So Leopard Print Shorts, read a book you've seen someone reading in the wild. Can be in public or online. And this is also a book, I think it's around 300 pages, but I need to read this in September, and I think it's so funny for this prompt because where I saw Macho Sluts by Pat Califia is in Love Lies Bleeding. And the one and only Kristen Stewart was reading it in the movie. So obviously I'm like, well, I need to get my hands on that and read what she's reading. So that's the book I'll be reading for that prompt. And then let's get into one of my kind of like hopes for September, which is to be reading poetry. I really want to do a poetry reading vlog because I've been getting more into poetry like this year, and I've kind of collected a few queer poetry collections that I'm really excited to dip into. But these two are the only ones that fulfill the prompts. This is Summer Cookout Shorts, read a book and eat or cook something to go with it. This is Meat Lovers by Rebecca Hawkes, which has one of the most beautiful covers, and there is in fact figs somewhere on the cover. Figs may be here, and if you didn't already know this, I'm like obsessed with figs. Figs is like the second best thing in the world after eggplant. So like this is just also like look at the back. I'm gonna have such a good time with this food. Peaches, lemons, it's perfect. I'm very excited for this. And then for the prompt, micro shorts, read a poetry book or read a book with a breakup in it, I'm going to be reading Limbic, which is also a poetry collection by Peter Scalpello. And hopefully, like, with these, I'll also be reading some of these. This will not be like fulfilling any of the prompts, but it's just poetry collections I'm really excited to get to. This is Daylight by Roya Marsh. Then we have, I cannot pronounce this title, by Tai Thibault, which just also has a beautiful cover. And then we have this one, More Than Organs by Kay Ulande Barrett. And Dear God, Dear Bones, Dear Yellow by Noor Hindi. So those are some poetry collections I'm really excited for, and I thought it'd be fun to read them during Shorty September, not only because they are short, but because Bert, who is hosting, one of the hosts, is a poet and poetry lover. So I think that'd be really fun. And then we have 2 more prompts. I think there's 12 prompts in total. Supermarket 2-pack short bundle. Read a nonfiction book that ties in with another of your shorties. I want to be reading this one. This is Transland. It's a Consent, Kink, and Pleasure by McSly. I think this would go really well together with, where are you? With this one, Limbic. This is both, like, explores, like, sex, kink type of things. I also want to read, for the prompt, Paper Bag Shorts. Buy a book and read it. I'm going to be buying, I've already planned this, I'm going to be buying Sex Goblin, which I think is also about sex and kink and that type of thing. And for Macho Sluts, like that vlog, that will also be exploring like sex and stuff. It's going to be a super sexy September, okay? It's going to be sexy Shorty September. At least for me, it's going to be hot. Very hot. So I think these two both go together, and I think this goes with like a lot of different books that I'm going to be reading in September. I'm ready. I'm done with, you know, Brat Summer. I'm ready for Slut Autumn. Let's make it a thing. So those were all the official prompts that I have, but I have some short books that I'm like itching to read. Aside from like the reading vlogs that I've planned, it's like literally 3 or 4 right now. Like they're all scrambled in my brain, but I'm so excited about all of them. I've got 3 books that could be contenders, aside from the whole remainder, Post-Apocalypse, Panpacalypse, and the remainder Dilemma, which I don't know anything about. I have 3 books that I'm also excited to read. In the Watchful City by K. Chu-Yu Liu is a book that I had on my TBR for a very long time, fantasy book that I honestly don't think I'll love it, which is why I haven't picked it up. And even though it's been on my TBR for a long time, but it's short. Maybe I'll get it to it this month. This was like a secondhand find, Self-Made Man by Poppy C. Bright. I think as I'm like working on trying to open a queer bookstore, I've dug into more of these like kind of like iconic queer writers of the past. That was same with like, you know, Pat Califia and Poppy C. Bright and like a bunch of other people. I've started learning more about like these kind of icons, but only specifically within queer community. So this is also short story collection. And the last one is a graphic novel. This is Confetti Realms. The imprint Maverick under Mad Cave Studios sent me a bunch of like comics, and this is one of the queer ones. So I'm very excited to pick this up, and it's short. If I need a break, I'll be reading this. I don't know what it's about. So that was a whole bunch of books, but I just wanted to share some of my thoughts with you. And as always, whenever I do a TBR, it's been a minute, but whenever I do a TBR, you can always message me on Instagram. My Instagram is wildly_will. If you don't want to do like a buddy read or anything like that with any of these books, I'm always up for it. And let me know down below if you're participating in Shorty September, what you'll be reading if you want to. I'll not be doing the bonus prompt for this challenge. I'm sorry, Sean. Other than that, go and check out Heather and Bert and Shorty September. It's going to be fun. And I will chat with all of you soon. Goodbye.